Welcome to a brand new video on the. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Police Officer, for with the sirens. Yeah. So, the attempt to sabotage me from doing this video, um, you know, yeah. hmm Everything that they did, figure it out. So, I'm doing the video now. So, now they got to hit me with the sirens. They think I couldn't figure it out, right? But I understand the reason why, you know, hitting me with directed energy weapons to take away my intelligence so I couldn't figure things out. And but when I'm able to figure it out, they'll do the sirens, say, "Look, we haven't caused them psychological harm. Yeah, okay, or neurological harm. Yeah, okay. Uh, don't buy that bullshit." Um, so anyway, welcome to another video of the Target Individual Program. Like you hear me saying, they attempt to sabotage me from doing this video. I started the recording, then I realized that the desktop audio, there was no indication of any sound. Though the mic had the indication of sound, I had to stop the video, play the video, and realize that I had no sound from the desktop and no sound from the mic. So I had to, you know, um, try and figure out, see what they could have done. And of course, they had went into the properties and unchecked the devices, right? And so actually this indicated now, so hopefully this will record, and I'm gonna um, you know try to do this video. I'm not gonna stop it. I'm gonna keep doing it because it's not gonna be too long. If I have to do it again, I'll do it again. I have no problems with doing it again. Trust me. Um, so this video I'm gonna talk about what happened to me today in my targeting and how they were using Pam to send me subliminal message, as well as the remote neural monitoring that had occurred, the hijacking of my consciousness, my conscious mind. You know, um, and again, they attempt to silence me from exposing and speaking out against what is being done, and they hate when I use this format to do these videos because again, I can show you guys videos like this. I could also share with you documentations to prove what it is I'm talking about. Okay, I may not be able to prove it at 100%, but there will be proofs in there. Okay, I don't just talk just to talk. I will give you documentations. Okay, I don't say the word I believe. I say the word I know or I think. Because if I say I think, at least I'm thinking. If I say I know, then you know I know, and I provide you with the documentations to back that up. So this video, like I said, thank goodness for the ancestors within me. Every time they they attempt to silence me, it's like there's awakening within me, and it's through my ancestors that are showing me the way of how to deal with these individuals and just figure out what it is that they're doing. Just like I've been trying to figure out for the past decade now, it's really been happening to me as well as us as TIs, right, as a community, and to the broader community that this technology is also being used on that have no idea, and they're being indoctrinated, with many different ways of thinking that is detrimental, particularly with us as Black people and me as a Black man. I can tell you this, that this technology is being used on us, had been being used on us. They've done a lot of experimentation on us, and though I may not have the evidence, okay, um, if you look up uh, Dr. Heath, Dr. Robert Heath, his one of his assistants will tell you, he was like, we rather use niggas because niggas were cheaper than animals, right? This is from his assistant saying this. But yet, when they talk about Dr. Heath, they talk about two patients, right? Well, what happened to all the the human beings, the Black people that he was experimented on? Okay, see, they're not gonna talk about that, right? Anyway, don't be fooled. America and its security agencies and military, as well as the weapons, the military industrial complex, they're very well advanced. And I talk about mind control a lot, okay? Because from my experience, being experimented on, and also uh, law enforcement, particularly the FBI, uh, have been using mind control technologies to manipulate people, okay? And now it has been trickling down to your state and local police departments, okay? But it's being done in secret. Okay, well, I'm here to expose that. I've said it many times. I'm going to continue to speak out no matter what they do, no matter what they say. Okay, so let's watch this video together. I'll stop it, do a certain segment just to talk about my experience and how that may relate to what you see and hear on the video. So let's go. I need to do this, turn this webcam off. Okay.
March 16th, 2018. The U.S. government's Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, commonly known as DARPA, announces a bold initiative to develop what they call next-generation non-surgical neurotechnology. It is designed to allow the human brain to directly interface with machines.
We know that DARPA is exploring human-machine interfaces that include direct connections between the brain and outside systems.
So I'm going to pause this right here, and I can tell you that this is absolutely true from my experience and how I'm being targeted. So, for example, when I'm on the heavy remote neural monitoring, let me give you guys just an example, quick example. Let me turn the webcam on. I guess gotta excuse me. I got this mic in front of me. Okay, here we go. So, for example, if I'm in the house, I might pick up a certain item. For example, this Xbox controller. And if I'm playing a game, what have you. And this is my son zone. So I'm using as an example, right? But it's the color, right? So they use color to convey emotions, okay? Thought, right? For example, when they start targeting me, particularly I see a lot of people wearing red, okay? Now red, it could mean try to incite anger within you. For example, when you get angry, if you have a lighter complexion, you'll turn red. Even black people you'll see the redness underneath their melanin, right? So red is a color that they can use to invoke anger. And I think back about Dr. Jose Delgado, who used radio transmitters and receivers implanted in the bull, and the matador is standing there with the red flag, okay, or with his red cape, and this bull is charging, okay, because bulls see the color red, they get angry, right? And so that bull is charging, and Dr. Jose Delgado uses a remote control. Basically press a button and the bull stopped charging at the matador. Now these videos you can find on YouTube. You can read up about Dr. Jose Delgado. And these things were being done in the 60s, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? This is nothing new here. And this is what they want you to believe, that these technologies, that is new. It is not new. They keep us ignorant when it comes to technology, because they understand that if they keep us ignorant, when they use this technology on any one of us, no one is going to believe us. Okay? And I'm here to tell you that these technologies exist, and this is why I'm so glad that I did find this video so I can do this and include it in this video that I'm doing, because I wasn't going to. Okay, but because they were messing with the computer, it's not my computer, I had to, I was like, you know what? and this always happens whenever they have me under heavy monitoring and try to prevent me from doing videos. It's like there's this awakening, right? And I find these things and I to share with you guys. Okay. So, like I said, so with the color red. So with the color blue, when they said, um, people say phrases like, you look a little blue, or you may say, I'm feeling kind of blue. So understand how colors are used, particularly in a negative way, to negatively affect our emotions, affect our thought patterns or our thoughts. And there's a process called neurolinguistic programming. I'm not going to get too much into that, but it is important that you understand neurolinguistic important neurolinguistic programming. I'm getting tongue-tied here. It's important that you understand because we see a lot of people today using the word like triggers. And where do you think that comes from? That comes from neurolinguistic programming. Many people don't know that. And when they say trigger, they don't think deep enough to understand that a trigger is something that is embedded within your mind. But also, with triggers, there's an anchor. So when a person say, well, you triggered me, what have you, it's because there was an anchor, something that's negative associated with that trigger. And so you just go off, right? It's programming. You got to understand that. Okay? So I'm hoping to be able to explain certain things. And, when I talk about, when I touch these things, all of a sudden I'll hear car honking. Exactly. Examples, other examples are if I touch a fork or spoon, which is metal, they'll do this. Again, it's the remote neural monitoring. Okay, let's continue.
That's been from the beginning of DARPA's.
Okay, but this goes on. This goes on before this whole brain initiative thing. This whole brain initiative thing is to throw you off. Okay, it's to make you believe that these things are recent, and I'm going to prove to you that it is not. Okay, and even in this screenshot here, you'll see they continue the legacy of DARPA investment in neurotechnology that extend back to the 70s. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It extends back further than that. Okay? We're talking about the 1950s. Okay? You should remember, the MK Ultra program didn't begin in 1960, but it began in the 50s. Okay?
Information technology mission, and it continues to this day. DARPA has created some of the most influential technologies of all time, things that we use and take for granted every day, including the project that became the internet. They've created self-driving cars.
1984, self-driving cars.
GPS that fits in your pocket. That's DARPA's specialty, to imagine the future and create it.
Let me see if I can...
A new technology that is actually very much on the verge of being a reality that is being fielded is we could have a sensor maybe on the surface of our head, or maybe implanted somewhere in our body, in our brain, or something that allows us to interact directly with our communications gear, our processing gear, our weapon systems, and so on. But now imagine we take that technology.
See what they're talking about, how he says that is new technology? It is nothing new. It's nothing new. All right. I'm going to pause this video because I need to find a video that was from the 1990s in which you'll see a quadriplegic man laying in the hospital bed with a chip embedded in his brain. Okay, and he's able to speak as the computer is basically decoding his speech pattern, his vocalization, and he didn't have to use his mouth to speak. Okay? Because remember, before words come out of our mouth, there is a vocalization within our vocal cord, a vibration. Okay? And they're able, through the microchip, which will decode the vibrations in our vocal cord. And so you don't have to open your mouth to say a word. What this chip does and the computer does is decode those vibrations, and on the computer screen you will see words appearing, because this is this person that's speaking through vocalization, right, without opening their mouth. Okay, just give me a sec here. Okay, well, took a little while, but I eventually found the article. I didn't find the video. Okay, a lot of stuff, like I said, they've been deleting off the internet because they don't want people who is doing research on what is happening, what is going on, to have information to combat the lies that is being planted today, right? That these things are somehow new, when they've been able to do this for well over 3 decades. Okay, well over 3 decades. Okay, so they're not fooling anybody, at least anyone that have some common sense and think logically and understand that this is not new. Anyway, let's continue the video.
And we can control robots at a distance with it. Even fly drones. You put this sensor on and you think the right way, and you can increase the speed of the fan by thinking and controlling that thought with direct to mind or mind machine interfacing.
Okay, now this technology, okay, you have a device that's on your head and you're able to control devices. Here's an article from the New York Times. This is October 22nd, 1998. So I tried to find a video, but couldn't find it. And it says, an implant that enables direct communication between the brain and the computer, a la Star Trek, is allowing a paralyzed mute stroke victims to use his brain power to move a cursor across a screen and convey simple message like hello and goodbye. Now, the video that I saw years ago, and you know, I've watched that video so many times that it's recorded in my long-term memory, so I don't think I'm going to forget that, particularly when it is an area of interest. You tend to remember these things, particularly when you, like I said, you watch it, read it so many times. And in this video, he was actually having communication. It wasn't just hello and goodbye. You know, it was how I'm feeling, and I'm telling you, it's unbelievable how they think how stupid we are, right? I'm telling you. So anyway, let me just read this for just a few more sentences, right? So of all things people lose, the ability to communicate is the most frightening thing. To know what you want to say and not to be able to say it, said Dr. Warren Silman, a neurosurgeon at University Hospital of Cleveland, who is not involved in the research. This is the first step to unlocking it. The device in the man's brain amplifies his brain signal. Those signals are then transmitted to a laptop computer through an antenna-like coil placed on his head. Like a computer mouse, the brain signal can move a cursor across the screen and point to icons with messages like, see you later, nice talking with you. The man can also use the cursor to tell others that he is hungry or thirsty. Now, like I said in the video, he was doing more than that. Okay?
with that type of capability, you could control all sorts of buttons and mechanisms in equipment.
Mind-machine interfaces will have many applications in both civilian and military life. But there are those who believe that this same technology could also be used by DARPA as a new form of mind control.
Exactly.
Like their counterparts at the CIA, DARPA-funded researchers have spent decades investigating how the human mind can be altered.
Understand that?
In 1965,
Decade.
DARPA launched Project Pandora,
Decades.
which studied the possibility of using microwave radiation to control human behavior.
Bingo.
The project reportedly ended in 1969, but DARPA's investigation of how machines can affect and possibly control the brain continues to this day.
Bingo. Now, let me tell you, I've done so much research and so much reading on these things that even on this computer, if you can see up here, you'll see bizarre brain implant, the Central Intelligence Agency, and here we go, Dr. Delgado implants, right? He says disobedience is the not him that said that, but Henry David Thoreau. Disobedience is the true foundation of liberty. The obedient must be slaves. Okay. Now, Dr. Delgado, implants and electronic mind control, stopping the furious bull, like I just talked about in my opening segment. Okay, this is what he says. Delgado used permanent brain implant to control behavior. Later, he utilized non-invasive method. And you can get his book. I wouldn't buy this shit, but these guys are criminals. Okay. Physical control of the mind towards a psycho-civilized society. Okay. Instrumentation, working hypotheses, and clinic aspect of neurosimulation. Intracerebral radio stimulation and recording in completely free patient, which I'm going to read a few paragraphs from. Journal of Nervous and Mental Disease. Free behavior and brain stimulation. International Review of Neurology. Now here's the video. Okay?
Electronic mind control research is not new. A scientific
And this
milestone in this
is a
area
news
came
report
in
from the 1980s.
when Dr. Jose Delgado demonstrated remote control over a charging bull. By connecting a radio antenna to electrodes inserted into the bull's brain, Delgado proved that the animal's aggressive impulses could be thwarted by electronically manipulating the bull's muscle reflexes.
Do you realize the fantastic possibilities if from the outside we could modify the inside? Could we give messages to the inside? But the beauty is that now we are using electrodes.
In recent years, Delgado has shown that the behavior of monkeys can be altered using low-power, pulsating magnetic fields. But in these experiments, there were no antenna implants.
Any function in the brain,
see that?
Emotions, intellect, personality, well, could be perhaps modified by this non-invasive technology.
Delgado's research has so far been limited to animals. But in the Soviet Union, a radio frequency, or RF device, has been used for over 30 years to manipulate the moods of mental patients.
And that was called the LiDAR machine. Okay? So, again, you guys can read this article from Cognitive Liberty Online. And let me see if this is the one. I don't think this is the one where he talks about, you know, black people being cheaper to experiment on than animals. Okay. All right. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, hold on a sec here. Okay, my video just my YouTube video just closed down. I didn't close it. Okay, hold on a sec. Let's see if I can get it back.
Project Pandora.
Okay,
Studied
here we
the
go.
possibility of using microwave radiation to control human behavior. The project reportedly ended in 1969, but DARPA's investigation of how machines can affect and possibly control the brain continues to this day.
There are explicit programs of DARPA to read and write to human brains, whether it's through direct implants within the brain or wearing some kind of cap. So these things are being worked on, and we know that.
So what's the next step? Maybe the next step is we can send instructions and information to an actual person from a distance with this kind of technology to let another person control their actions. But that could be something that could be malicious.
If there's some way to do it from a distance,
Definitely.
a much greater distance than something that you can wear on your scalp, that would be the ultimate technological achievement that would fall into this realm of mind control.
But you don't need to wear anything on your scalp, because now our consciousness can be hijacked using
In the near future,
radio frequencies,
DARPA
microwave
may
frequencies,
possess the technology
without
to remotely control
a
the human
microchip.
mind. But as
The only
concerning as that may
reason
be,
you as a
according to
TI
some
and I
scientists,
have
a more
microchips
permanent kind of mind
is because
control
of research,
technology is looming,
experimentation.
and it
They
involves
need
modifying
real
the
world
human
feedback.
brain by altering
Okay?
the human body's
And so what they've done
DNA.
is
The future of mind control,
use these technology
the future being right now,
to hijack
because,
our minds,
these experiments are being
take over
done,
our consciousness, even if it's just briefly,
using gene editing tools,
right?
and one of
So
them
they
would be
can
CRISPR.
hijack
The
your
way it
mind,
works is take the
make you
CRISPR,
commit
which
a
are these
crime,
short alternating repeats of
okay?
DNA. You
And
put that
then
together with an enzyme
say,
called
well,
Cas. So
if you talk
take
about
the CRISPR that you want to use,
being experimented
you
on,
put these pieces
being
together
microchip,
that can
we're
be
going to
injected
arrest
and
you.
insert this
We're
DNA
going to,
certain areas
you know,
of the brain so that we can change
put you away.
brain cells and turn you into something you wouldn't otherwise
Okay?
be. So in
This
way,
is what they have been
gene
doing to
editing
us.
Technologies like CRISPR really
Okay?
form
Or
a
they
definite
try.
basis for future mind control.
These are
Okay?
things that DARPA
They,
has investigated.
for some of us,
Every
they've tried,
technology has the potential
it
for
didn't
good
work,
or evil.
and now they
who
got to go on a
defines what's
psychological
good and what's
campaign
evil and who
to
uses it
discredit
for
you.
what purpose. These are all questions that have been asked about everything from
So you gotta, as he says, you gotta
rockets
ask
to
yourself,
self-driving vehicles. We still don't have a good
what is it?
handle on
What? How
the
much more are they
ethics
hiding?
of various technologies that we use. The technologists tend not to be so concerned with the ethics. That seems to be the domain
You understand
of
that?
other people, policymakers, for
There's
example,
no ethics.
academics, people like this. There needs to be a hand-in-hand interaction with people creating technology and those who are considering the ethics of that technology.
Okay. Like he said, right? The ethics. There is no ethics involved with what's being done. Furthermore, if they want to select anyone to experiment on, okay, they can manipulate that person using microwave radio frequency, using psychological programming, tactics and method, using drugs to put you in a position, if you're a target, if you're selected, right, to be experimented on. And like I said many times, you look at the Kingpin character in the Spider-Man comic books, the Daredevil comic books, and what this character does is exactly what these criminals, okay, within the upper level of government, the white supremacists within the police forces and the military and the security agencies have done and continue to do to those of us they consider to be a threat. Okay? And you don't have to be a threat. All they have to do is consider you to be a threat through their own fears, and they will do this to you. Okay, so when I talk about brain chip computer interface, and they talk about that this is new, this is not new. And I'm, like I said, and I'm showing you the proof that this is not new. So when they talk about the brain initiative under Obama, that was a smokescreen to make you think and believe that this sort of thing is new. It's relatively new, only the past couple of years. Okay, but again, through this very same report that I just showed you, okay, from 1998, okay, and I had to put 1998 in there in order for it to come up. Oh, see, now it's not coming up now. Okay, what did I think I might have got to take this out. That's okay. Yeah, there we go. All right. So this is nothing new. And like I said, and I can go back to the 1960s, which I did with that article. Okay. And again, here's the story of Dr. Robert Heath. All right. That tells you what they were doing. Right? In the 1950s, in the 60s, you know, how they were trying to cure homosexuality. But not also were they experimenting if see if they can cure homosexuality, but they were also experimenting on how to turn straight people into homosexuals. Why do you think there's such an explosion of homosexuality and bisexuality within the Black community over the last 2 decades? Why do you think there's such a push within young people, particularly young Black children, okay, to engage in homosexual behavior? Now, this is not a rant against someone being homosexual. Okay, if you're born homosexual, that's not your fault. That's not, and you know, so I can't say anything about it. I'm not against homosexuality. It's just not my lifestyle. If it's your lifestyle, that's fine. That's you. But understand that certain things may have happened to you to make you become that way. Okay? And it's not just going to be trauma from sexual abuse. Okay, it can be trauma. I wouldn't say trauma, but it can be other things, such as radio control or radio frequency programming to change your sexual preference from heterosexual to homosexual. There's an experiment that they did on a 12-year-old boy, okay, in which they conditioned him to switch his sexual orientation from being heterosexual to homosexual. So understand this. This is why, like I said, there's such an explosion of homosexuality and bisexuality within the Black community over the past 2 decades. If you look at Atlanta, the mecca of Black America, you will find the most homosexuals. This is just another way for white supremacists to destroy cities and towns that black people, when coming together, create something that's financially beneficial, societal beneficial to themselves and their children. This is why in the beginning of the early 2000s, you start to hear about this explosion of down low men, down low black men. Okay? So I know what I'm talking about. They've used that. They tried to run that scheme on me. Okay? And the use of money is also a tool that they use. Why? Because they understand the economic depression that they keep us in as black people. And as TIs too. They'll threaten our children. Okay? They have taken a lot of our civil rights leaders and made them homosexuals. I'm going to tell you, it's true. I'm not going to name names. But if you look at the FBI Coercive Program, okay, and you look at the people, the civil rights leaders, activists, Black Panther Party members who were arrested, you know, they removed the video from YouTube, Dr. Peter Bergen in the Minds of Men, where they talk about how when civil rights leaders or community leaders will get arrested, they will take them to the psych ward with a neurologist, and they would experiment on them. But they took the video down from YouTube. Now there's another video that's up that's totally different from the one that was up there the previous years. They took it down because I exposed what they were doing. I did a YouTube video on it, and I did a Facebook video on it. And within a month, they took the video down. Okay? So, yeah, when they're trying to hide their shit, they will remove it from the internet to keep you ignorant and not informed. Okay? So, let me just read this. It says here, homosexuality has been treated with lobotomies, chemical castration, electrical shock, and nausea-inducing drugs, as well as psychotherapy. Right? He said, because I tell my students about the bizarre gay conversion experiments carried out in the 1970s by a leading brain implant researcher, Dr. Robert G. Heath of Tulane University in New Orleans. So they were doing brain implants, like I said, from the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s. This is nothing new. But because they hide these things from us, they put things in the movies that make us believe that these things only occur in the year 3025 or in the year 4010 something, you know. This is what they're doing, keeping us ignorant to technology. Okay, so let me get to this other part of the video, which I talk about my experience, and I'm gonna show you how they use the mother of my two kids, Pam, against me in terms of, you know, doing all these hand signals and sticking her tongue out and all this other things. So she called me earlier and she did a video call on what's the app called? WhatsApp. Okay. Now, she was on vacation. She went to Costa Rica. She had called me back one night. She was at the bar. And, you know, when I start to see grown women behave in a childlike manner, and grown men too, I understand why. That even some of the most educated among us as black people, not talking about TI, it's a separate issue here now, okay? This is my experience. I know what's being done. Because for a lot of black people, particularly black men and black women who are in their 40s and 50s, when you look at their behavior, when you listen to how they speak, it is in a childlike manner, a young person's manner. So, for example, you know, video call from her, and, you know, she's saying goodbye. She's like, bye, bye. Or she's holding her hands like this, bye, in front of the, you know, the phone camera. And I'm just like, wow. Now, and this only happens this year, right? Because last year, she went on vacation, did a video call. It was none of that. It was like, all right, bye, talk to you later, what have you, have a good night, have a good night. Now it's the hand thing, bye, bye, you know, like that. I'm like, my kids don't even do that. Our kids don't even do that. You know? So today, like I said, so today she called me. She's like, oh, I'm just calling. I said, well, how come you, so I said to her, how come you video calling me? She's like, oh, because I want you to see the kids. You know? So she goes to my daughter and my son, and she is walking through the house, and I keep noticing whenever she stops talking, she'll do this. You know? So she kept doing it, and I was like, oh, I got a screenshot of this shit the next time she does it. So I did. And then she's walking through her parents' house, and she has her phone not in front of her face, but to the side where I can see her earbuds, right? She has these white Apple AirPods or what have you. So let me do the screen. Let me show you the screenshot. Okay. Where we at here? There we go. See if I can do this. So you see her mouth is open and she's doing, but she's not talking to me. Okay. And she done it a few times before I realized that this is something that's, you know, that's being done, whether consciously unconsciously. You know, I've shown you plenty of my videos, for those who look at my videos on YouTube, of people walking towards me and sticking their tongue out at me. Okay? And I just woken up, and you can see my face here. Don't look too handsome, you know. I do have that look on my face, like, so you gotta excuse me, you know. I don't look that bad. It's only because, like I said, I woke out of my sleep. You know, usually I'm a good-looking guy. So, you know, the perps are jealous. They can't be as good-looking as us TIs. You know, they can't, so they're jealous. Hey, we can't help it. We're beautiful people. So anyway, let me get to the other image now. So again, you'll see her. She's walking around, right? She doesn't have the phone, you know, directly in front of her talking to me, but she puts it to the side and she's showing me the earbud. Now, again, these are the same things perps would do whenever they're wearing a white earbuds or what have you. They'll turn to the side, you know, has to do with that whole ear thing or hair thing. You know, I just look at them people like they're, you know, they're crazy. But this is what was happening. And then after I did the screenshots, these two screenshots, okay, we got off the phone, and for half an hour straight, about a few minutes after that, maybe 2 or 3 minutes after that, the fire truck shows up, police, ambulance with the noise campaign, sirens going for about a half an hour. You know, I didn't do the video that I would normally do and put it on YouTube. I decided to wait. I said, I want to see what was going to happen. You know? And so then, you know, I had set up the computer to do the video, went to take a shower, came back. All shit went up in smokes because they access not my computer, access the computer. I'm on my son's computer. And, you know, start messing with shit. So it literally took me about an hour and a half to figure out and get things back to how it was. But before that happened, I called her back because I wanted to see if she was going to do the same thing. And of course they knew it, so they, you know, they didn't bother doing it. She didn't, you know, she wasn't doing all of that stuff except for one thing. Right? And again, let me show you guys this. Okay, so she's talking to me and you see the palm fixation. Okay? Again, holding the hands, you know, kind of like that towards me as she's talking to me. And I'm like, wow. This is what manipulation does. This is what mind control does. Whether it be telling someone rumors and indoctrinating them into participating in talking to somebody, or the use of radio wave and microwave frequency to send them instructions to send these hand signals. Now look at the bottom picture there. That's me right there. I look much better, right? See? When I'm showered, I'm shaved, I clean up pretty well. I know the perps are jealous. They're jealous. I had a beautiful woman, and they're like, oh, we're going to get her. We're going to take her. We want her. Yeah, that's what they do. In your relationships, they'll break up your relationships. They'll try to send people to your significant others. You know, the reason why I say others is because there's more than one TIs. To seduce them, to manipulate them. And then when the relationship is finished between you and that individual, the person who they sent with that individual, they will leave them. If you're a man and your girlfriend, they send somebody to your girlfriend, if you're a woman, send somebody to your boyfriend, or if whatever your sexual preferences, they'll always send somebody to try to manipulate that individual. It happened to other TIs where they broke up relationships. The person gets pregnant and comes back to the TI and be like, okay, well, you know, you have to accept me. You have to take me back. Because why? Because they think that because they isolate you and, you know, they spread their rumors that, you know, you won't find, you know, another person to be in a relationship with, to love, to marry, or what have you. This is what they do. Look up Coercive Persuasion Programming. Our Coercive Persuasion Program. Look up Thought Reform. Okay? Yeah, this is what they do. So now, after the first conversation I had with Pam early on during the day, I got a call. Okay? And that call, let me do this. Okay? This is at 2:59. I get a call that it says suspected spam. Right? Now, and again, being bombarded with the sirens, afterwards I get this. Like I'm a suspect or something like that. This is what they do. Whenever they use police in your targeting, it is to tell you or give you a subliminal message that you're a suspect. Well, when you think about it in a logical sense, are you really? Are you really? I walked into a police station explained to them what's happening, and they told me that I need to go see a professional. But yet they'll keep running this whole suspects thing. Understand, it is to silence you. The more I talk about my experience in this program, the more they try to use the police to shut me up. Okay? When I'm over here, I mean, the sirens is off the chain. I mean, literally, yeah, I'm leaving, I'm going home. Within 2-3 minutes, ambulance showed up, police show up, whoop whoop, fire truck show up. And then if it's past 10 o'clock and I'm still here, all of a sudden there's silence. Then I'll pick back up around midnight. Okay? And then if I do leave, okay, then I wait for the bus. Sometimes the bus will take very long to come because they have to send their operative on the bus to target me. And then when I get home, you guys see it on almost all my videos when I'm home, because I film it. As soon as I reach my block, you start hearing sirens. Then I get to my apartment building, they'll make a gunshot song, right? The simulated gunshot sound. Or sometimes it is gunshot. Other times they use these M80s, these loud firecrackers. Okay, so I want to show you how different this is from when I usually get a call when it might be spam. What it'll say. Okay, because again, I gotta show you guys this. Okay, because this one here doesn't happen too often. Only after they engage in noise campaign featuring the police. Right? Or if they don't want me speaking to Pam, whatever reason, you know, they play her against me, you know, and I'm sure in her mind they play. They play. Well, I wouldn't even say she thinks, but I know that they play her against me, and they use the people around her to manipulate her. I know this. I've told her this. I've spoke to her about this. But with most modern women, particularly black women, they'd never listen to us black men at all. Not at all. You know? So, you know, hey. So let's, right. So normally when I get spam calls, right, it will say spam lightly. So here's one. And here, again, I usually get this number with the number 32 in there. And did you guys just hear the sirens? Why? Because it's number 32 in there. That is called neurolinguistic programming, and it doesn't mean anything to me now. You know, they try to associate it with too many things for me to even, you know, think about it. So I know it's, you know, it's bullshit, but it has to do with, you know, how they try to attach triggers and anchors, right? Sometimes they'll try to attach to the police. Like, I used to see a lot of police call with the number 32 in their license plate or their car number. Okay? So they try to, and they can transfer in what is called the transference of anchors and triggers. So all the neurolinguistic programming, particularly dark NLP, which, you know, they don't want to talk about. But there's a book by Dantalan Jones called Mind Control Language Pattern, which talks about that. Okay? Here's another one, scam likely. Okay, but like I said, I will get this particular one when, you know, they target me with the police sirens. Okay, now I don't know if this video is going to go up on YouTube. If they don't give me a copyright strike for whatever reason, they will find some way of doing it, but I'll post it on Facebook. Okay, and I'll post it on my Instagram. I have an Instagram account. There's nothing on there, but I'm gonna start using it. Start posting my videos on Instagram too. Okay. All right. Also, if I click on a picture, let's say I have, you know, Facebook friends, they usually post pictures or to stories, what have you, and I'll click on it. Whenever there's a woman, a black woman, wearing the color brown, they will do that. The police sirens, the car honking. Okay. When I loaded this picture into the program, yeah, the police sirens. Whoop whoop. Here, somebody's banging outside. Banging on something. I don't know. But anyway, because they monitor my online activities, my computer activities, they monitor me through the microchip. And what is remote neural monitoring? Okay, and after particularly a few hours of heavy remote neural monitoring, then I get headaches. Okay, really painful headaches. And whenever I scream out because of the pain, yell out in pain, immediately following afterwards, there'll be police sirens to try to shut me up next time. But no, if I'm in pain and, you know, that pain, automatically I'm yelling out in pain. There's nothing I can do. And I don't care how much sirens you all want to do. I'm not going to shut up about that. No, not going to happen. Okay. All right. So here is the document, right? This is by Dr. Jose Delgado. Right. It says intracerebral radio stimulation and recording. What are they recording? They're recording our emotions, our thought pattern. They're basically creating a recording of our consciousness. Okay? In order to manipulate us. Okay? Now, they'll talk about the benefits that these things have on society. But you will never hear them talk about the dark side or what they use it for. Okay? How they're able to kill people with these technologies. Okay? So, let me just read a few sentences here. Okay? A paragraph or two. Diagnosis and treatment of focal brain dysfunction associated with behavior abnormalities are complex tasks which require more effective exploratory techniques. Intracerebral electrode, electrocardiographical studies, and subsequent discrete neurosurgery have given the epileptologist and stereotaxic surgeon new possibilities for clinical investigation, which as yet has been applied on only a small percentage of the patients suffering from neurological disorders, including temporal lobe epilepsy and related episodic behavioral problems. In these therapeutic studies, recordings and stimulation of any chosen cerebral structure can be performed over a period of days or weeks, and neuronal sites identified as triggers for abnormal electrical pattern associated with behavioral disturbance can be destroyed by electrolysis or resection. Okay? Now I know what electrolysis is, but I don't know what resection is. Okay? Now, during the last few, I'm going to skip this one here, this paragraph. I'm going to just go to this one. During the last few years, methodologically has been developed to stimulate and record the electrical activities of the brain in complete unrestrained monkeys and chimpanzees. Delgado, 1967, Delgado Amir, press. This procedure should be of considerable clinical interest because it permits exploration of the brain for unlimited periods in patient without disturbing the rest of normal spontaneous activities. This paper reports instrumentation use and clinical application in 4 patients with psychomotor epilepsy in whom electrodes had been implanted in the temporal lobe. To our knowledge, it is the first clinical use of intracerebral radio stimulation and recorded in man. Okay, again, 1967. All right, now let's go to the radio stimulation. This system consists of 2 instruments. One, the RF transmitter that measures 30 centimeters by 25 centimeters by 15 centimeters and includes the circuitry for controlling the repetition, rate, duration, and amplitude intensity in the stimulated pulse. Now, a lot of my videos, you hear me talk about repetition, duration, and intensity. Why? Because there's repetition in our targeting. There are times when it's intense, and then there's a duration in which it can go on for hours, sometimes days, weeks, and months. Okay? So, the repetition rate may be varied in steps between 10 and 200 hertz, and the duration between 0.1 and 1.5 millisecond. Single pulses may also be generated. Intensity control is accomplished by varying the frequencies of the 3 subcarrier oscillators and operate in the 100s to 500 kilohertz frequency range. And you guys don't think that we all can be manipulated through frequencies. Do you know that they can stop our heart rhythm through frequencies? These things may seem incredible to us, but I can guarantee you that it is not. Okay? This has been going on for a very long time. And they have continued to experiment on people to further the development of these technologies. Now, they have complete control over our minds and our bodies. I know. There are times I'm in the house and I'm doing involuntary hand movement, triggering myself. There are times that I'm always conscious about my hand movement, my hand gesture, what I touch, because again, sometimes it gets to the point where you can't even take it. Whereas almost everything you touch is a whoop whoop or a honk honk. And then when they hijack your consciousness, my consciousness, and I pick up something, okay, I can feel it. I can tell the difference. If you've been a target long enough and you studied this program, you can tell the difference. Do you guys understand how there are a lot of people out there, okay, that have been trained in how to manipulate us? We go to these restaurants, they're putting drugs in our food, in our drink, just a little bit at a time, because over a long sustained period of time, it will affect you. There are a lot of evil motherfuckers out there. A lot. And a lot of them are being paid. A lot of them, they do it because of their religious belief. That's another aspect of this program, is the manipulation of religious believers. But always know this, that everything that's been done to you is not something that is naturally occurring. It is something that has been planned and put into action. It is implemented. It is to destroy your mind, to discredit you. If they can't control you, they're going to destroy you. Okay? And I say, let them try. Let them try. Even if they're successful, I'm going to be successful. I'm not talking about money, but I'm talking about bringing awareness to what's being done. Okay? This is a PDF that you guys can get online if you just type in 978_1 or just type in the title, as you see here. Intracerebral radio stimulation and recording in completely free patients by Jose M.R. Delgado. There's a lot. There's too much for me to do in one video. Okay? But I'm starting with this one. And some I'm gonna do over and do again, because we always got to be reminded, because they've programmed us to have short-term memory. Okay? All right. Well, with that being said, I'm going to say thank you for those who watched the video. And keep doing your research. Okay? Keep exposing. If you are exposing what's being done to you, you know, that's the right thing to do. Ignore the subliminal message that every time you expose them in some way, they're saying a subliminal message that you're going to be arrested, or you're guilty, or you're a suspect. It is all meant to silence you. Okay? And I always said, you know, if you want to come and arrest me, you know where I'm at. I'm not hiding. Okay? I'm not hiding. Like I said, come meet me. Come knock on my door. I'll be waiting. Okay? I will be waiting. Because this is a fight that I want to have. And I want to make people aware, very aware, of what's going on. Change ain't going to come easy. Particularly in a society run by criminals. But it got to start somewhere. And it starts between each and every one of us. Not just as TIs, but as human beings. Okay? To speak out. When those in the authoritative position are conspiring to destroy your life. Because they decided they're going to experiment on you. They didn't ask you. They manipulated you and I, and think that they can get away with it. But I'm here to say, no, you can't. I'm not going to allow you to. And if you do get away with it, it won't be because you silenced me. It will be because of your position and the resources that you have and the technology to manipulate the people. Always notice, when you see my face, I'm not your friend. Don't try to act as if you're my friend. Don't send me subliminal message about you trying to help me. You're not trying to help me. You're trying to manipulate me to further what you want to do, to stop me from speaking out on what is going on. But I understand your mindset. Talking about those in the position of power that have the dark triad personality types that figure that their position will shield them. And maybe it will. But going forward, those that come after you will think twice. You best believe that. All right? And as for my TIs, my fellow TIs, stay strong. Remember that if you don't speak up, that's okay. Not all of us can, not all of us will. But understand that there are those of us out there who will speak up for you, who will fight for you. Okay, because like I said, this is not just about me. It's about you. It's about future generations that they will do this to. And including perps, you know, gang stalkers. Because they too are being manipulated. And though I may curse them, but exposing this is going to benefit them greatly too. All right, with that being said, you guys have a good night. I'll speak to you guys on the next Target Individual video, Target Individual Experience. I'm just tired. It's after 2 o'clock, 2 a.m. You know, I should have finished this video a long time ago, but you know, with them manipulating and hacking into the computer, changing shit, you know, it is what it is. But like I said, didn't matter. Still speak up. Still expose what's being done. Okay? All right. See you guys in the next video.